Good.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, from wherever you're joining us from. You are welcome to this Ubunge channel, and that is the African Blackwood TV. This is a channel where we bring in our Africans in the diaspora, especially Nigerians who are doing amazing things right in the diaspora, especially who are changing the narratives of Africans in the diaspora. Today, my guest is in person of Low Rangers. He is an IT specialist, and we're going to discuss about very dark man, prank, of the thing, in which he said that the 180 million, right, was a prank. Are you familiar with Very Dark Man before this prank went viral? If so, what's your impression on Very Dark Man?
Me, I I became aware of Very Dark Man during the days when he he was really taking it out on these guys that are selling skincare products without proper NAFDAC registration or proper scientific justification of all of the chemicals that they are putting together. And I thought, oh, okay, this is someone that is fighting, a genuine cause. Because I see a lot of people then who would come out and be like, oh, I bought this set of skincare products from this particular vendor, and this is the damage it has done to my skin. And when I try to reach out to the support of this supposed skincare vendor, they are intimidating me. Some of these vendors went as far as taking these people to taking them to jail. And when Very Dark Man came and became the sensation, it felt like, oh yeah, this is a breath of fresh air, and looks like these guys are about to meet their Waterloo. So it felt like, oh, this is somebody doing something great. And then it just felt like it just went spiral downhill from there. It became very controversial. Sometimes some of his sensation in quotes became bullying. It started picking beefs with people online, and it just went from the very the spectacular person that I kind of like love what he started with to somebody that I just didn't know what it was about anymore. Started hanging out celebrities. It started making it look like it was sort of like on one side of the spectrum and then not on the other side. So that was
Yeah.
what I used to know about him. And I used to like him during his early uh, advocacy stage, if there is any advocacy involved. And then from there, I just didn't really follow him that much since it's become like every other sensations that we know. Like we see them rise up every now and then in the social media, in the Niger social media space. So I mean, it's not any special. But this is this one he did recently is very surprising.
All right. When you first heard about the 180 million prank, yeah, what was
Yeah.
your initial reaction? What is that thing that really got to you?
When I first heard about the 180 million naira thing, my impression in my mind as someone that is very analytical is that how I listened to him try to like dissect what Very Dark Man said in his video about how these 180 million naira developed wings and flew away from his account. And I was trying to piece everything together, and it didn't make any sense to me in like the feed that I am. It felt like, hmm, this is either this whoever is giving this guy this report is playing on his naivety in technology, or is just trying to make Nigerians look and feel stupid, because it doesn't make any sense as to how the disappearance can really be possible. Like is alleging that there was an heist that was done, And it's not possible. It is not possible with how he has said this came to be, especially the fact that he said it happened on his website. So there was no way. Like I was just thinking in my head, like I was just thinking, how could this happen? Because every now and then within the tech and the cyberspace, we've seen data breach happen all the time. It's happened to like bigger companies. It's happened to like co- big tech companies. Like recently, it was Uber who got victim of. They got all they fell victim of a data breach where all the employees and all of their passcode and everything was breached, and
Yeah.
it was massive. This is not the first time. This is like we recently saw about like CrowdStrike, who made a very bad update to their security system on every Windows system that shut down airports. So cybercrime is not something that we can joke with. So when he said that, I was just trying to piece together and try to like troubleshoot how this could be possible, but none of it made sense. None of it made sense as to where, especially where he said it happened from, which is his website. The website he made for transparency has suddenly become a wallet that somebody went in and who went away with 180 million naira. That's it. Just didn't make sense when I first heard about it. It makes sense to me.
Well, as an IT specialist, I mean, the very first time you heard about this, I mean, does it ever occur to you that it's going to be a prank at the end of the day? Because, I mean, that's your core field there anyway.
Yeah, yeah. My very first impression was that Sprite. It's a joke. Honestly, that was my very first impression that this is a joke. This guy is probably trying to play a fast one or trying to make people um, talk about him so that he can come out and be like, "Ta-da! I got you all. You guys thought, because I know he's always been in the business of calling out people who are corrupt. He's always been in the business of calling out people who wants to play a fast one on the citizens. I mean, recently he just did one with one prophet in Worry, where he bought all the miracle products that the prophet was selling and took it to like a camp of people who are disabled, trying to see how it works. So, and then for somebody who the sole purpose he created that website for was to be transparent in the donations. And all of a sudden, he's talking about the disappearance of funds. And the first thing that was supposed to be vital to substantiating his claim was not provided, which is evidence. So
Mhm.
everything did not make sense. So it just felt like, if 180 million naira is truly missing, the first thing one person who truly stands for transparency will provide is evidence. And it was missing from the first video. The explanation was so vague, just somebody sitting in an airport lounge and saying they have been disturbed over a few days and just casually said 180 million naira disappeared from their coffers, and everything was just not piecing together. So I just knew this guy is playing a prank. But it's so hard for people who follow him so dearly to see beyond what he's saying because they think he's sort of like some social media messiah, not even a sensation anymore. It's transitioned from being another sensation that we always have in Niger cyberspace to somebody who is now become so infallible that they cannot see beyond whatever he's saying in his video. So
Yeah.
it's so hard. I just knew it was a prank all along. I knew it. I knew
Okay.
it.
All right. Then. Do you think the prank, yeah, by Very Dark Man, do you think he has crossed the ethical line? And do you think it's just a kind of harmless form? What do you think?
I think he has crossed so many lines. I think Very Dark Man has done his has hit his limit in making. And when you see the video he made today, I mean that he made today to
Yeah.
debunk the fact that all of you, he specifically his choice of words are very derogatory. The choice of words are very condescending to well-meaning Nigerians. Like these people trust you. We've seen his apologies. Like we've been on this issue for the past couple of days. We've seen how
Yes, sir.
people have come out to make it look like we are accusing Very Dark Man of theft, and said, "Oh yes." And then when he said the insider, people went with it and be like, "Oh yes, we don't know. We cannot say how much. You don't know how bad an insider can be, and how very efficient they can carry out all of their operations." So when he now came out and said it's a prank, this has gone too far. Simply because if this were to come out to be true, there are a lot of institutions that would be called to disrepute. Our banking system will be called to disrepute, because the banking ecosystem is meant to be one of the most secure. It's meant to be one of the most secure ecosystem in terms of in terms of like everything security. Like they cannot, like a banking system, the healthcare system, they cannot be pinching their pockets when it comes to like infrastructure. I work in the IT department of a multinational medical manufacturing company here in the United States. My my directors, my VPs, they don't pinch their pocket to buy the latest firewall, to buy the latest router. Like as soon as these network device companies are saying we have this new product out, we are buying it. They are paying for trainings. They're paying huge dollars for training. I remember I was just 4 weeks into my position. My company sponsored me on a $5,000 firewall training, just to be adept with the technology that they are using to fight cyber crimes. Because this attack is always that these cyber hackers, these cyber criminals, they are always trying to hit your weak point. They are finding that they are always on the lookout to see where they can hit you and see that you're vulnerable and do all of the damage that they can do. So for Very Dark Man to come out and make this allegation and then come out as, "Oh yeah, it's a prank," it makes a joke of the whole Nigerian system. And the reason why I said the whole Nigerian system is because there's a lot of system that was presumed to have failed Very Dark Man when this discourse was still in question before he came to make this big revelation again. Our police system was called to question that, "Oh, Very Dark Man did not trust our police system." And then at the time we were like, why is he able to trust our policing system to make an arrest, but not to submit all the evidence of this theft so that they can pursue all the leads? He's going to Jos. He said he was going to Ghana. Why? Why don't you trust our police system? If you go to Ghana, are you going to extradite whoever you whoever you arrest there as
That's
the
Nigeria.
social media policeman, and bring them back to Nigeria? I don't even know if we have extradition treaty with Ghana.
Ghana.
So there's a lot that he's just making a joke of. You're making a joke of a whole system, the policing system, our banking system. Like it's just making a joke of, even like it, when he said the 180 million naira, when he made his transparency website, most of the transactions that are displayed on that website were not transactions that were made
We're having
after the
network
website
issues,
was
guys.
created. They were transactions that he displayed from the bank, which means the money is already sitting in the bank. So if 180 million naira was missing, which means 180 million naira disappeared in the bank. So even now that I don't see how the bank is taking it lightly with him and providing him with bank statements, and I see him laughing in the banking hall, and I'm like, don't you guys just know how heavy this allegation, the prank was? So it made a joke of a lot of things that should have never been messed with, and I feel like this institution should not take it lightly with him. That is my honest opinion. I feel like these institutions are not supposed to take it lightly with Very Dark Man. But I guess this is Nigeria. It is what it is.
Okay. Do you think Very Dark Man achieved what he intended, right, to do with the prank? or do you
I
think it's going to backfire at the end of the day?
I believe he he got all the tongues wagging. That was his intention. He got everybody just blabbing because he made this guy. He also made some references to it in his video that everybody has been cutting, I've been going, I've been doing this, and I was like, wow, okay. And then he said I don't know if he said this in particular, or maybe he said 80% of Nigerians. Or I don't know if he said Nigerians in social media, or maybe
Yeah.
Nigerians itself are stupid.
Stupid, yeah, dumb, yeah.
Yes, I know he used the word stupid, but I'm not sure if he said Nigerians or maybe social media Nigerian users are stupid. Now, imagine making that kind of statement because you want the attention and you got it. He knows that he has made a lot of enemies through some of his bullying,
Sure,
through some of the beefs that he has picked online with a lot of
sure.
people, with a lot of other celebrities. He has picked a lot of enemies there. So he wanted them to be the point to be like, oh, did we not tell you this guy has no credibility? And so he now is coming out to be like, tada, I got you guys. You guys were just wasting your time talking about me. But yeah, the money is intact in the
Mhm.
bank. So he achieved what he wants to achieve. But then
Sure.
I feel like there needs to be there needs to be a limit to all these pranksters that are becoming a thing now. Like we can s- we can make a lot of scenarios from like all these pranksters of that are springing up now. A lot of them are pushing the extreme, and this one making a joke of a whole system of institutions that are meant to be secure, to be like the safest in the ecosystem of how Nigerian works and functions,
Yeah,
should not be taken lightly.
yeah. But then what does his prank, yeah, um says about the current state of Nigerian cyberspace and social media culture? This prank of the thing, what does it say about it?
It says it says a lot about our celebrity worshipping syndrome. It says a lot
Yeah.
about how people choose to worship celebrity and follow them doggedly without being objective. Like I can follow somebody and still be able to ask them questions when there is need to ask questions. I feel like that is one of the things that is missing in all of our systems, that we follow people so doggedly that we think we have to follow God so doggedly without asking questions. God wants to be asked questions. And so this has exposed a lot about our social media about our social media presence. We told them that this is impossible, but because they have so trusted, they have that celebrity worship syndrome, it has exposed a lot of people. We see that happening in a lot. We can liken this situation to a lot of things that are currently happening in Nigeria, in the film industry, in every kind of facet of our social media space. We need to objectively follow people and be able to question them without making them make a mockery of our intelligence. Nigeria is a country full of intelligent and smart folks. We cannot continue to make people have us look stupid because we follow them. And this very dark man has exposed, and I'm glad he called them stupid. I am very happy that he called them stupid.
Well, okay. Do you think this prank of a thing, yeah, do you think it will harm online community in Nigeria? If so, why?
Uh, I believe it would definitely if have its call the consequential effect, because we cannot just think some things can just diffuse into the air and not have some sort of like returns. simply because, I mean, it's a popular folklore that says that if a shepherd comes into the town and be like, "Oh, there's a wolf in my herd. There's a wolf. There's
Yeah.
a wolf," and then everybody comes out with their clubs, with their machete, and everything in hopes to kill a wolf. And then they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, there is no wolf. I was just pranking you guys." It does that 2 or 3 times, and then eventually the sixth time there is an actual wolf. And then people will be like, "Oh, bro, you can't fool us this time. We know there is no wolf." But then there is an actual wolf. So now this is going to have its own consequence for sure, because when something actually happens, and especially when people follow celebrity social media sensations so doggedly like this, and they also come out to be like, "Oh, we this is happening,"
Yeah.
people would definitely want to be like, "Oh, okay, maybe he's also trying to prank us." But maybe at the time, maybe that's for real. Maybe they are actually mismanaged funds or something. They could actually just make up things and people would definitely believe them. I will be very patient to see what happens to the brand of Very Dark Man, or how its apologies feel after they were actually told by expert that this is impossible, and how they feel post his revelation of the fact that this is a prank. I want to see how they actually feel. But I believe this is supposed to be consequential. I envision the consequence coming from the institution that this prank is targeted to mock, which is our police system, our banking system.
Okay,
I
system.
want I do hope that they have some sort of like consequence to come out and make a public statement and be like, if you want to pray your social media prime, you are allowed. I mean, we have freedom of expression in Nigeria, but we should not do it at the detriment of. I know a lot of people said Zenith Bank was trying to establish their brand in France, and having something like this, which actually calls to question your brand, and you are also playing along. I mean, did he call somebody in Zenith Bank and be like, I'm going to play this prank. You guys don't release any statements. Just keep quiet, without knowing the impact that it's going to have. Like most of these consequence might not even happen to Very Dark Man itself, but to the
Yeah.
bank, but to the institutions that this is supposed to evolve around and affect. So
Yeah.
there is obviously going to be some consequential returns, but it might not be something that would only affect Very Dark Man, but to other institutions that are that this evolves around. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as we speak right now, it came out that it's a prank, right? But then there might be some people in the cyberspace as we speak right now that doesn't get the information that it's still a prank. So
Oh,
I mean, there are more people that overheard them the last time that said, "Ah, my 180 million got missing" and stuff like that. Not all those people that heard that will later, yeah, listen to this a new video of Very Dark Man that says that it's that it's a prank. So to me,
okay.
I think you really need to think twice in the nearest future if you want to play such prank. But let me now ask you, in the future, yeah, if Very Dark Man comes up with something either real or genuine, do you think, yeah, that people will still believe him?
He has lost his credibility to have a second chance at playing a prank.
Prank.
That's my honest opinion, that he has lost his credibility to play a prank. One thing about prankster is that to if you were successful in one prank, to make another successful prank, you have to come up with something bigger than the
Bigger.
first prank that you were successful at.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what is going to come, as if he wants this kind of like attention to drive to his page, to his brand and everything. I can only imagine what is going to come up as. Is it going to say CBN was looted of all of the Nigerian treasury, or something that? So a prank only gets better if you find a bigger one to like be better and be insane than the first one that you did. So if he has lost, to me, he has lost all his credibility to come out and make another breaking news and then come out to say it's a prank. I would be very much happy to see how his addict followers really react to this prank after believing him with all of the trying to defend him and trying to make everyone who wants them to see this situation objectively. I was trying to make how people who defended him made it look like, oh yes, they have to, this has to be of people it has to be some spiritual attack or something. Nigerians made a lot of excuse for him, but in my honest opinion, to answer your question, I feel like he has lost his credibility to afford another prank. And a prank only gets better if you have another one that is insane, more insane than the first one that you made. But he has lost his credibility to come out with another one, to me. That's to me.
Wow, that means his reputation now it's imbalanced because some of his fans, right, his die-hard fans, they still believe in him, while some of them are saying if it's a prank, that man that he has lost it or stuff like that. So let's see how the game plays out in the nearest coming few days. But like I mean, if you are very dark, if you are in a very dark man's shoe, would you have pulled such a prank like that? If
To
yes,
be
why would you have done
if,
that?
that would be insane for me to do. Like, one thing that I always run away from is to mess with established institutions. I always run away from messing with established institutions. I don't like to mess with the police. I don't like to mess with the banking system. I mean, you heard recently what happened in the United States. People
Yeah,
thought they had found a glitch, and so they would write a fake check to themselves, go to a Chase Bank ATM, deposit this check. The money reflects in their accounts. I mean, before the check clears, a portion of this is made available in your account. People thought they have found a money glitch and started making humongous check amount of money to themselves, depositing it in check, cashing it out. But this caught up with them. A lot of people are now awaiting trial to go to jail because they did this money fraud. So an established system is not to be messed with. But that's why I really want to see the reaction of all of this system that this prank is supposed to make a mockery of. I want to see how they come out and react to this. Honestly, I want to see how they actually come out and show that this is not what you do to an established system. I, for one, would never mess with an established system. I would not mess with the government. I would not mess because also the EFCC is also part of this of the institution that this is supposed to make a mockery of, and
yeah.
also the policing system, the banking system. So I would not mess with something like that. I would mess with another individual and make a prank of them. But making a prank of an established institution is something that I would not try. I would never, and I would never dive into such an endeavor. That's just from my own standpoint.
Very dark man's prank. Is it a kind of wake up call for cybersecurity in Nigeria?
Oh, yes, honest. That is a very, very great question. This is a wake up call to cybersecurity. To be specific, I work as a network engineer. So I work closely with information security experts. I work closely with every kind of like security expert to secure every kind of like information. So this is a wake up call to making to sense to sort of like have incentive within our cyberspace so that people are aware of this. You know, the video that's very dark, I think it was the second one where he was listing how they were going to Ghana and how they recovered 78 million. And
Yeah.
then he got, I don't know who gave him that PDF. Maybe he found it on Google and then
The
concocted it
DOS,
together.
the DOS
And then
format.
it was like there was a DDoS, there was a These things happen every day because these cybersecurity guys, like I said, I watch firewall logs for a living. I see how people like we have geographical blockings where we block places where we know we block people from North Korea, we block China, we block Russia, we block people, especially if the IP address is designated for that region. We block it because if we don't have business there, we just block it. But these people, because we block them, does not stop them from making attempts at our systems. So we see all of their logs, all of their activity trying to hit most of our impactful servers. But then it doesn't mean they are going to get there because they are blocked. But in our server, it's going to show that these people are attempting to get into this particular server. So when he listed that thing in his statement, I just looked at that. I was just like, it's probably like they're making a mockery of his lack of technological knowledge, or this guy just think everybody is stupid and he doesn't think Nigerians are smart. And I guess the latter is his thinking because he has come out to call Nigerians stupid. So I'm not surprised. So this is a wake up call for people to have this basic understanding of cyber space. You cannot just be hacked or anything and be saying it's DDoS and be using all this buzzword hack. Especially when people hear that word hack, people just think, oh, it's something that's like, for anyone to be hacked, it has to have your input. Like if someone is going to hack me, they have to have my input. I have to either click on some. This is a wake up call. They need to start bringing this initiative to like the grassroots level so that people don't just run with the fact that hack, or when they think, oh yes, people move money from his bank account to the cryptocurrency peer to peer. Like when people just hear these buzzwords, it makes their mind think like it's sort of like maybe tinkles their memory and
Yeah.
be like, yes, this is something big. And they think that, oh, once you move money from like a currency to like crypto, you are invincible. It doesn't make you invincible. Everything has ledger, everything has a trace somewhere, somehow. You will be found. So this needs to be a grassroots sense. They need to bring this education to the grassroots. They need to wake this call in our space, in our Nigerian space, so that people just don't work with all these things. We have smart minds. So they need to sensationalize every cadre of our cyberspace experience in Nigeria. Yes.
Mm. Should we believe in very dark man that this is a prank, or it's just a kind of diversion? Because we were told that a few weeks ago he was having problem with one of those guys, and it was like kind of buzzballs on the cyberspace. I mean, is he using this to divert the attention of Nigerians from this buzzballs of a thing onto this one?
obviously, obviously, there is always a connotation of trying to distract from what the main thing that needs to be focused on. Because I know they said it's been in some sort of like beef again with some celebrity, and then there was one time one of his voice notes leaked where he was threatening somebody else, and then he came out with this blockbuster of a prank, and everybody went ballistic on it. So a lot of this is definitely a distraction. I mean, I can categorically tell you that Very Dark Man achieved a lot of things with these blockbuster prank. He achieved a lot of he achieved a lot of impression on his account, which is something if he was like an influencer that takes adverts from like brands and everything, this is an opportunity because of the impression. But then I would be very surprised if a reputable brand brings their advert to somebody like that who's using an hoax to gain impressions into their account. So but nevertheless, he has achieved that with his prank. He has achieved that impression with his prank. He has made a mockery. He has definitely achieved his mind of making a mockery of Nigerian cyberspace. He has made a mockery of our banking institution. He has made a mockery of a lot of things that should not even have been remotely allowed. But I mean, this is Nigeria where you can get away with anything. So I don't think anything. I would really love to see some consequence that comes to him with this expensive prank. I would. But he has achieved a lot of things, in my opinion, with this prank. He has achieved a lot.
So do you think it's high time that someone should regulate this prank of a thing in Nigeria?
I think it is high time we had a regulation to all of these pranks. Like in Nigeria, one prankster sensation had gone to prison. I think it was Trinity guy. He
Trinity,
was
yeah.
recently just released from prison because of this nonsense prank. So I think it's I don't blame the House of I think it was the House of Assembly or the Senate. They were trying to pass something recently to
Yeah.
regulate social media
Social media space.
activity, but we went ballistic to say that they want to impede on our freedom of expression. And because we know that they also do it oppressively by going after people who say negative things about people in government.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, these pranksters need to be called to question because now they are not just doing something just to film like other pranksters. Very Dark Man has taken his own a notch higher by
To another
pranking
level.
our whole system, which is something that any concerned lover of Nigeria should know that this is not supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I believe it's high time to call for a regulation of some of these pranks that they do on social media. But freedom of expression needs to come guided as well. So now they just have to think this bill through. And I feel like if they are paying attention to what is happening in the social media space, they should pick on this Very Dark Man's blockbuster prank and maybe resurrect the bill and probably get some well-meaning critical thinkers to like fashion this bill so that it doesn't come off as they are trying to, just outrightly take away freedom of expression from people because that's what social media is supposed to be for. But it's supposed to be guided. It's supposed to be guided.
Do you think that his fans, yeah, will still keep on that high spirit of donating money to Very Dark Man because of this
I
prank?
believe Very Dark Man can go up to 1 billion naira. And this is the reason why I said this. The reason why I said that is because these people believed in the absolute infallibility of Very Dark Man. That Very Dark Man can never do any wrong. So to them, this prank is a testament to their social media sensations credibility. Even though to well-meaning, intelligent, critical thinkers, they know this prank is a call to question of our established system, of our security system, and a lot of other parastatals that are supposed to be involved in this prank. So I know that his loyal and very dedicated devotee see this as, oh, we told you so. Our social media big lord can never do any wrong. So it's just joking with you guys. So to them, they see this as a mere joke, and they would not even try to see this beyond the fact that this is supposed to impact his credibility. No, they see it. This has made Very Dark Man more credible to them, and I foresee them just pumping money into this. Now that he has gone to even acquire his statement
Statement
of
of account.
account to present it to them, and they're like, "Oh yes, no money was lost. Nothing was." This will even ginger them the more to pump in money into that NGO without no questions asked. And I see his NGO going to 1 billion naira, even beyond with what has happened. They don't see it as anything. I don't think they saw it as anything.
Do you think there's a space, yeah, in the legal system that someone can just stand up tomorrow and sue Very Dark Man because of this prank? I know you're not a lawyer, but let's just look at it. I mean, being someone
Yeah.
that travel wide, what do you think, sir?
I I like I said, I want some sort of like consequential effect to come
Yeah.
on in as a result of this blockbuster that he has made. I want something to not to do him bad, but just to make him know that you cannot mess you cannot go this far. Because let us all agree, Very Dark Man has gone too far with this prank. This is gone too far. This because as critical thinkers, when we were analyzing the situations, we were talking about if you trust our system to make arrests after, how did you find the names of the people that you're going to just to meet, to Ghana to meet? How did you find their names? And how are you planning to make their arrest? If you are only trusting the police to arrest them, why not get this evidence? We have an Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Nigeria. Why not go there and submit all the pieces of evidence to them so they can pursue all the leads? He didn't do that. The police came out. The spokesperson came out and say they don't have any official report. But this is the person who has said they have made one arrest already. What, like, this is supposed to be what they're supposed to question, even though he didn't make an official report, but he mentioned that they made an arrest. So
All right.
I feel like an institution like that should be like, okay, you didn't make an official report to us as a body, as a security outfit of this nation. You didn't make an official report to us. Okay, now tell us which police division did you submit this arrest to? Who granted this warrant of arrest? There are a lot of questions that needs to be asked, that needs to be clarified. Even though they are not going to put him in jail or try to, but they are supposed to call him in for questioning and ensure that even his NGO, a lot of things has to be questioned too. Does he have the proper, I don't know if it's CAC
CSC
or maybe
certificate.
there's like a non-profit registration?
Yeah.
Does it have the
BOT, Board of Trustees, and stuff
Does it
like
have
that.
the board of trustees? How many signatories are to his account? Even though EFCC is not trying to arrest him, or they need to bring him in because this is involved. They call themselves economic and financial something. So this involve finances. They need to call him and ask him all of these basic questions just to establish the credibility of his NGO, to ensure that the NGO has the proper number of people to be signatory to an account, just so that an account does not just money in the account does not develop wings and fly away tomorrow for real, for real. So I feel like even though there is nothing legally that I feel like he has done bad, I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like some things need to be clarified. They need to call him so that he doesn't feel like he's untouchable or he's unquestionable. He needs to be called to question. They need to call him in for questioning, even though they are not going to indict him with legal any legal of trespass or anything. They need to call him in and put set the record straight. Ensure that he mentions that no, I did not arrest anybody. I didn't involve anything. Just to make sure that he clears it and ensure that he makes like a public apology, because he came out and called Nigerians stupid. Like, you should be making an apology. You should not be calling Nigerians stupid because you have made a mockery of their intelligence. People who followed you doggedly, you have called them stupid. That, oh, this goes to show that Nigerians are stupid. Like, this guy emphatically said, use that word. So they need to call him to clarify some of the claims that he has made, and not just to whitewash it as be like, oh yes, he has said it's a prank. So everybody, let's go home, let's go and relax. Nothing has happened. It's just a prank. No, that's not how a system should work. No.
You guys said the thing is structured. It's like there is some kind of information of the credit card or the way they pay their money stored on that very page. Is there any possibility of people making use of such information to run away with it?
a lot of things can be done as damage to this piece of information. Even though the credit card part of this is on the payments gateway, so maybe unless they're able to get into the payment gateway and get their credit card information, because once they click the donate button, it sort of like redirects them to the ecosystem of the payment gateway. So I mean, they might have their own security system set in place, but just by the name, there could be no limit to what a criminal minded cyber criminal can do just by the name, and just trying to send them emails making it look like something that comes from a legit source, and have them click something, and boom, they're already trapped.
If you were to advise Very Dark Man today on his website, what will you tell him in terms of security?
First thing first, this website was made out of arrogance. It was not made, it is far from an intention to be transparent. This was pure arrogance, just to show people that I am a very credible and transparent and honest person. You are not. So it's just trying to make a disparity of the fact that I am something, you are not. So first of all, the website is unnecessary. I believe that every NGO, I don't know how it is done in Nigeria. I've never really, I've been in like a non-profit organization, and what they do, I believe, is they report their earnings to the government or to the FIRS every year, even though they are non-taxable organizations. But so they still have to report their earnings so that everything is consistent to like all of our financial regulations in Nigeria, and there's no money laundering or any sort of like discrepancies going on behind the scenes. So that's the only thing that you need. That's the only thing that he needs to worry about, ensuring that his credit and the debit balances together. No discrepancy. Nobody is using his NGO to wash money, as it's popularly said, to wash money, and everything is to detail. Nothing is being done without all the required signatory to his account, and everything is done as plain as possible. That's the transparency that people require. Nobody is asking you to be the one that to be showing people their names on the website and the amount they donated. I've seen people, just because they want to see if their name will pop up in the list on that transparency website, send money to that account just so that they can see how fast their name pops up on that list, which is also something that a criminal can do just to see. Maybe because I don't know how maybe some banks use the same number they send alert to also send you OTP. This is something that can also be done if they are using the same number for OTP to also send alert. They could manipulate their way around that too, and the API that is not intelligent to know that, oh, this is an OTP, this is a bank transaction. We just send the OTP also to the website. So he needs to like take down that website first of all. The only thing he needs to do is to ensure that his NGO follows proper NGO setup, organizational chart according to how Nigeria has defined it, and worry about ensuring that no money crime is being committed on it, no financial crime is being committed with his NGO. That's all. That is all. The website is so unnecessary because now a lot of things needs to be taken into account. Now, if you said you have developers, which means developers have to be paid somehow, right? Is he paying his developers from his own personal money, or are they being paid on the account of the NGO funds? Because at least they have worked. They put together all the pieces of the logic and everything that makes the website accessible to users. How are they being paid? I know that NGOs, they pay their staff from the NGO proceeds, but his expenditure has remained zero. So how did you pay your developers? Are they just your friend that are helping you? Because that's also potential. That's also a potential risk to the finances in the accounts. That's a potential risk. Are you paying them from, or are they doing a non-profit service for you, just setting up a website, a lot of things cause to discredit that while this website is just unfounded and should just be taken down without any further questioning. So his website just it should be off like yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Very Dark Man talk too much? Because when you look at his other video, and even the one released today, when he was boasting, he said, "Do you know how much money I spend on security on that site and stuff like that?" I know some guys, yeah. Um, I mean, they don't want to do anything silly, right? But they just want to show him that, you know what? Okay, let's go there. You know what I mean? So do
Of
you
course.
think it talks too much? Because like now we can see some cyber hackers that will say, okay, now let's give it a test, and
Let's
then they'll hold
challenge
him at ransom.
you.
You know.
Yeah.
So will you
Uh-huh.
advise him to just keep his mouth shut and just face his NGO instead of talk? Do you think he talks too much?
I think Very Dark Man should have kept his mouth shut like yes, day before yesterday. Like he should have just called it quits like the moment it happened. You don't challenge. Oh my god. I feel like this guy, I still think that is very technical illiterate and he doesn't know how people can be dangerous with just name. They can get the name of these people, pretend to be friends, and social engineer them to the point that they give up all of their personal information without them knowing, and they would get heat. They will face the heat. You don't challenge cyber criminal, even without challenging them, they are actually hitting you to know where you are vulnerable. Now, when you now call them to fight, these people will go to their arsenal and bring their bazooka and bring their RPG and hit you where you will not even know it.
On this note, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly help us subscribe to this channel at African Black Gold TV. And like I said before, this is a channel where we showcase Nigerians who are doing amazingly great in the diaspora. Like we bring our techie guys here, business people, and stuff like
Mm,
that. So kindly support the channel by subscribing to this channel. Yeah. And one more time, thanks a lot, our guest.
thank
We
you.
really appreciate you. Hello,
Have a
Ranger.
good
Thanks
day.
a lot for being with us today. We really appreciate you. And then
Correct.
hopefully we'll follow this BDM super prank back to back as things
No
unfold.
problem.
We'll bring it, up space to you guys.
Of
So
course.
thanks a lot. One more time, please kindly subscribe to this channel at African Black Gold TV.